Established in 2010, the G7 Plus are 20 countries recognized as the voice of nearly 1.5 billion people who live in fragile and conflict-affected countries across Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean. The G7 Plus promote dialogue and reconciliation as condition to achieve peace and stability.
The peace will come if we all, in our society, we put the national interest above all.
In the past 10 years, G7 Plus organized several ministerial meetings: Haiti, 2012, Togo, 2014, Afghanistan, 2016. The group strengthened its membership and even expands its presence in Europe by opening a hub in Lisbon, Portugal in 2017. One of the G7 Plus flagship programs, Fragile to Fragile Cooperation, also known as F2F, under the principles of voluntarism, solidarity, and cooperation. F2F allows the group to share experience and knowledge among member countries in areas such as peace and reconciliation, election, natural resource management, and UN peacekeeping missions. PK8 area in Bangui becomes lively again after many of its people return home from the IDP's camp near the Bangui International Airport. All those families were living sad and in poor conditions. But they are finally safe to return to a safe house and continue to start a new life despite everything that was destroyed during the conflict the past years.
C'est dur, on hésitait beaucoup. On souffrait. Comment les enfants peuvent aller à l'école?
On n'a pas d'activité, on est resté comme ça, sans rien faire.
La nuit, on ne peut pas dormir. Il y a beaucoup de voleurs, il y a des gens qui viennent nous détruire encore là-bas. Quand la pluie tombe, les vers de terre montent sur ce que les enfants dorment là. Scorpions, tout. Moustiques.
Auparavant, à Limpopo, là, on n'est pas 10, mais aujourd'hui, là, on sort, on est 10 maintenant. Maintenant, là, ça va. Je suis content. Je faisais mes activités pour trouver de quoi pour les enfants, pour vivre avec les enfants, là, je suis content maintenant.
Ma première nuit ici, je dis, mais oh mon Dieu, est-ce que c'est vrai? Là où je peux dormir en l'aise, les enfants commencent à aller à l'école, elles amusent comment au quartier par rapport à un peu que les enfants ne peuvent pas bouger de loin de nous. Avant, les gens m'appellent que je suis déplacée. Mais de mon retour, les gens me disent que je suis retournée. Je suis retournée. Et puis, je suis à l'aise par rapport à vous.
À chaque fois, quand il y a le processus de retour, si un déplacé devient maintenant retourné, ils se trouvent dans une situation un peu confortable parce qu'ils se sentent à l'aise. Ils voient une maison bien bâtie, ils voient une maison au lieu de rester sous la tente et sous la bâche. Et c'est pas bien, c'est mieux de rester comme ça. Et donc on retrouve maintenant l'autre dignité.
G7 Plus organized its third mission to Central African Republic in 2016 to visit Bangui IDP's camp, which hosted 28,000 families.
Si cette visite a été l'élément déclencheur de plusieurs choses, c'est-à-dire dans un premier temps, l'appui qui nous a permis de procéder au retour et à la relocalisation des personnes déplacées du site.
Le gouvernement a pris cette situation comme étant une situation prioritaire. Donc il fallait évidemment mettre en place une structure qui s'appelle PARE pour pouvoir, n'est-ce pas, aider à accompagner ces personnes afin qu'ils puissent repartir dans les résidences qu'ils ont eux-mêmes choisies.
Ce retour a été l'élément déclencheur pour les autres sites. La visite de G7+ a été vraiment un plus pour notre pays. Une équipe qui est venue avec une vision nouvelle. Le but, c'était pour nous aider à commencer à procéder au relèvement de la Centrafrique.
L'impact était effectivement de se retrouver chez soi, et non sur le site avec les conditions de vie. C'est difficile, apporter quelques maladies, etc., etc. Donc l'impact a été évidemment un impact positif. Le retour a été un soulagement pour ces personnes, une question de dignité qui se posait. Donc à partir du moment où on se retrouve plus ou moins chez soi, en essayant de se prendre soi-même en charge, évidemment cela implique un caractère enthousiasmant.
The assistance from another fellow G7 plus country, Timor-Leste, in assisting the IDPs in Central African Republic in 2016 was basically an act of humanitarian reason. And the beauty of this assistance is that they channel through based on the New Deal country-led, country-owned development initiatives. So the assistance from Timor-Leste is channeled through using the country system in Central African Republic through the Ministry of Reconciliation based on trust. And the G7 Plus Secretariat acts as a conduit to channel that assistance from a government of G7 Plus country to another fellow G7 Plus country based on the spirit of solidarity, volunteerism and cooperation of the fragile to fragile cooperation.
A total of 40 million people are estimated to be living in internal displacement as a result of conflict and violence as of the end of 2017. 11,408,000 internal displaced people are in 8 G7 Plus countries: Afghanistan, Burundi, Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, South Sudan, and Yemen. During a high-level meeting on peace building and state building hosted by the President of the General Assembly, eminent person of G7 Plus, Shanana Guzmao, emphasized that to address the root cause of conflict and fragility, we need to fully recognize the country's unique context and leadership in reconciliation to achieve peace.
The only way to overcome all these differences and all this conflict is by sitting in a peaceful negotiation to discuss and forgive one another so we can open a new page. That thing cannot happen if there is no dialogue. Dialogue is the way forward where we can reconcile and forgive one another and build a peaceful, coexistent country to all of us.
South Sudan. The conflict happened since 2013, has weakened the government to maintain peace and deliver services to its people. The country currently hosted 857,000 internally displaced people caused by conflict, many of which are youth with a high hope to have a better future.
I don't feel fine when I see my people who are living in IDPs camp.
When I came here, it is because of the war. And I'm hoping also my friends and my people who are here, we will meet in other places. And I hope so that the peace will come and we will stay in our own countries alone or our estates alone.
We have a lot of ladies who did not go to school due to the war, where they leave their places, where they stay in peace, and they came here and they didn't study.
I'm tired because this is not my real home. My real home is in Jonglei. So if I feel like I'm tired, I want to continue with my school to get more educated than that. Peace for me is like when I go back home. Peace for me is like when I see my brothers and sisters, they are going back to school. Peace for me when I see my father and my mom, they are working in the same place.
The bigger chunk of the impact of the conflict has been to displace people. It has been to derail the economy. For us to be able to see the end of the conflict, we have to have investments, not just in the national economy, but also in the local economies. It is then that we shall be able to consolidate and sustain the peace.
If war is there, everything, we people of business, we are suffering.
There is no more people who are buying things. The peace is coming and they are quite So business is going hard. If there is people are feeling no peace, no something like that, everyone is keeping his money and no buy.
Although we have the unfortunate stories of conflict that has caused humanitarian crisis and suffering, we in the G7+ group have example of countries which have successfully ended conflict and consolidated peace. The underlying factor for their success has been the national leadership who have managed to take the charge of their own security and stability. For example, we have countries like Sierra Leone, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire, Solomon Island, where the UN peacekeeping missions have successfully wound up, because these countries were able to achieve initial stability and security and consolidate their institutions.
We've seen our story as a success story, being a G7+ member country. As you compare in a global, you find that the recurrence of conflict is unstoppable. But in our case, I must say that it's a success story. The reason being is that focus is now concentrated on development aspects, providing conducive environment from what we have come out from that experience, so that we allow social economic development to contribute to the national economy.
The G7+ has learned the hard way that we need to support inclusive process of national dialogue and reconciliation.
Il faut se parler, il faut s'écouter mutuellement, il faut conjuguer les efforts, il faut aller vers la paix.
And the true partnership with the international community must be based on respect, understanding, and most importantly, national ownership. While efforts continue to lead to change in consolidating peace and development in the global stage, preventing conflict and sustaining peace should start from our home, to reconcile with our problem and move forward towards resilience.
Peace for me is the fundamental or the base of development.
Peace for me is all of us will stay in love and there is nothing wrong between us.
La paix pour moi, c'est le développement.
Le retour des personnes déplacées. La paix donne beaucoup de choses. La paix donne la santé, la paix donne la force.
La paix pour moi est un symbole d'unité.
La paix n'a pas de prix.
Peace is the umbrella of stability.